Well, I think the first thing to say, and by the way, thanks for having me on the show. The first thing to say is last year, 2023, represented a spectacular recovery for Uniper after the crisis year of 2022. We recorded an EBIT of 6.4 billion. That's a record number for Uniper, and it reflects both the fact that commodity prices fell, specifically gas prices, and we were able to hedge our exposure to Russian gas that wasn't delivered. And secondly, because we were able to trade both our power and electricity and our gas positions so that we delivered that outstanding level of EBIT. Now, of course, prices have continued to fall since then, and that means that we will reduce our outlook for for this year, I should say. But our priority hasn't changed. Our priority is to deliver green investment in Uniper, to transform Uniper from what is today an 80% fossil-fired company to a 80% green flexible generation company by 2030. And that's significant investment of over 8 billion euros that we'll be investing to deliver that transformation.
Again, you point to the investment, that's a huge chunk of money. In terms of the Green Deal and what is being delivered by lawmakers in Europe, are you getting the right kind of incentives, or is it simply too much regulation?
Well, things are moving now. For us, one of the most important pieces of regulation we needed was the so-called German Kraftwerk strategy, the power plant strategy. This has been in gestation for quite some time by the German government. They now published very recently a proposal for 10 gigawatts of new capacity, hydrogen-ready capacity, so we can build gas power plants and then convert them to hydrogen in the 2030s. We're very pleased with this development. We think it represents a very significant step forward, and it's part of the wider transformation of the European economy to a green future, and indeed will play a key part in our strategy to get there.
Let's stick with the German government. Obviously, your biggest shareholder, 99% stake here. We know the German government has a bit of a budget issue. They want to reduce that stake either way, and you want to pay back some of the billions that you've received. Can you give us a little more clarity, more visibility on the timeline here?
Well, we know that the German government has to exit to 25% plus one share by 2028. How they do that is a decision that the federal government has to take. Our job as management is to deliver, firstly, a financially stabilized company. That we've done with the turnaround from last year. We also need to deliver a credible investment strategy to turn Uniper into a financially sustainable and also an environmentally sustainable company. That's what our strategy that we announced last August will do. We're very confident we can deliver, and we've shown last year that the financial recovery is already behind us. So we're confident we have the right strategy. We're confident that the equity story for Uniper will be the right one, and then it's up to the government how they deliver that exit by the end of 2028.
And that equity story, will that involve dividends?
At some point, if we are going to sell shares back to the market, then clearly dividends have to play a role. And indeed, that's why we had an extraordinary general meeting at the end of last year in order to restructure our balance sheet to put us in a position where we can, at some point, pay dividends.
Mm-hmm. How comfortable would you be with the German government keeping a very significant stake purely to protect your interests and the interests of the German utility sector? What stake would you be comfortable with?
Well, that's a question you'd have to ask to the German government. What I'd say is we want Uniper to be a sustainable company, sustainable financially, sustainable environmentally, that can make a significant contribution to the German and the European energy transformation. Our job as management is to make that happen. That's what we're doing. And clearly, we would like to remain an independent company because we believe we have a unique contribution to make to the energy transformation. But in the end, it's up to the existing shareholder to decide exactly how they want to exit the company within the constraints of the European Commission ruling. Mm-hmm.